All right, welcome to the deep dive, everybody. Today, we're going to be kind of tackling something that I think we all kind of strive for, right? those truly stress-free and unforgettable trips. We all dream of those amazing travel experiences. But sometimes, let's be real, the planning can feel like it needs its own separate vacation, right? Like you just need a break from planning the break. I think, a lot of our listeners are looking for that sweet spot. You wanna soak up the good stuff, the valuable knowledge as quickly as possible, but without like drowning in a sea of endless options and just getting completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about amplifying the joy, right? And minimizing kind of the friction, the hassle.
Yeah,
In our busy lives, travel should be that revitalizing escape. It
exactly.
shouldn't become another source of anxiety.
Totally agree. And that's exactly what we're aiming for today, to kind of equip you with some really practical strategies to plan your trips more effectively, get rid of that stress, really dial it down. We've been digging into this awesome resource called 5 Travel Hacks That Save Time and Money Every Trip.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to use that as our sort of springboard for today's conversation.
Great.
So, first things first, maybe a seemingly obvious question, but why is efficiency even a thing when we're talking about something as fun and exciting as travel, right? I mean, shouldn't it just be, go with the flow, see what happens?
I think what's really interesting to consider is how the entire travel landscape has changed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, gone are the days where we're lugging around these heavy guidebooks and making endless phone calls to try to book things.
Right.
Digital tools, I mean, they fundamentally reshaped how we approach our journeys. And in today's world where time is so precious, optimizing your trip, it's not just a bonus, it's essential. It's crucial for truly immersing yourself in that destination and maximizing what you get out of your travels, both in terms of time and budget.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I think this shift, it's not just about convenience, right? It's almost like it's about kind of freeing up mental space, instead of constantly worrying about all these scattered details. You can actually start looking forward to the enjoyment of your trip much earlier in the process.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned digital tools, and I'd love to dig into that a little bit more. In what specific ways have they really been such a game changer for travel planning?
So if you zoom out a bit, right?
Yeah.
Think about the sheer volume of information that's now available at our fingertips.
Oh, yeah.
Digital platforms like TripIt and Wanderlog, they offer this kind of smart organization, smooth management, if you will.
Yeah.
They allow you to bring all the different pieces of your trip together in a single digital space.
Okay.
All those flights, accommodations, activities, it's all there.
That sounds so practical. So like no more frantically searching through your inbox for those confirmation emails.
Precisely. You can consolidate your bookings, keep track of reservations so easily, but it goes beyond just storage. Right?
Chuck,
They also play a really significant role in efficient time management during your actual travels.
That's interesting. So tell me more about that. How can a digital tool actually help with time management once you're actually on the ground at your destination?
Well, this brings up a really important point about how we value our time, especially when we travel. A well-structured itinerary, often facilitated by these digital planners, it's essential for avoiding delays, that feeling of always being rushed. Some of the more advanced features can even alert you to potential conflicts in your schedule. Maybe you've double booked something.
Oh,
Or suggest quicker routes between different locations.
yeah.
It's like having this little travel assistant right there in your pocket.
So it's almost like having a travel companion who's like hyper organized, always thinking ahead.
In a way, yeah. And if you think about it, every minute you save by being well organized, whether it's navigating an airport more efficiently or avoiding a traffic jam, it all contributes to a significantly better travel experience. It's that cumulative effect of all that efficiency.
That makes a lot of sense. So we've established that efficiency is key, and this resource we've been looking at, it really emphasizes the value of a travel planner. What specifically makes that such a useful tool, in your opinion?
So Travel Planner, especially a digital one, it becomes your central command center, right? For everything trip related. It gathers all those details that are usually scattered everywhere.
Right.
Your flight confirmations, hotel reservations, tour tickets, everything's organized under one digital umbrella.
Okay.
And immediately you just feel that mental burden lighten. You know, you're not trying to remember a million different booking references.
Yeah, just trying to keep track of all those details, that's mental clutter right there for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as our source points out, platforms like Wanderlog, they offer these really helpful additional benefits like real-time updates and route optimization.
Oh, okay.
And what's interesting here is how proactive these tools can be.
Yeah.
Like they can potentially save you time and effort before you even realize there might be an issue. Like imagine getting an alert about a gate change before it's even announced publicly.
Right.
That's the power of real-time updates. It's not just notifications. It's about regaining control.
Yeah.
You know, knowing about a delay before you even arrive at the airport can completely transform a potentially stressful situation.
Yeah.
You can adjust your plans calmly.
Totally. That could definitely prevent some frantic dashes through the airport, right? Like, oh no, got to get to the gate. So, and route optimization, how does that work in practical terms?
So think about it. You're on a road trip with multiple stops, or you're simply trying to get from your hotel to an attraction in a busy city. These features, they can suggest the most efficient routes, taking into account things like traffic or public transport schedules.
Yeah.
And our source actually highlights a key difference between Wanderlog and TripIt in this area. Wanderlog, it offers route optimization. TripIt, it doesn't.
That's a really helpful distinction. So if I'm planning a trip with, multiple destinations or even just a lot of activities packed into one day, a planner with route optimization could be a real game changer.
Absolutely.
The source also talks about trying out a digital travel planner template. What immediate advantages would you say someone might experience from doing that?
So the first thing you'd probably notice is just this greater sense of control and clarity. Instead of your trip details being spread out across emails and notes and maybe even just your memory, a template provides that structured framework. You can actually see your itinerary visually, and that organization alone, it can alleviate so much anxiety. It allows you to anticipate any potential conflicts or logistical challenges before they even arise.
Okay, so you're getting ahead of potential problems. That makes sense. So let's dive into some of these proven hacks that the source talks about for building a smart itinerary. The first one is all about integrating bookings and reservations seamlessly. How do we actually do that in a practical way?
Well, this is where those digital travel planners we've been talking about, they really shine.
Okay.
Platforms like Wanderlog and TripIt, they're designed to let you merge all your different booking confirmations, whether it's flights, hotels, that cooking class you booked, into one itinerary. You can often just forward those confirmation emails directly to the platform, and it automatically extracts all the essential details.
Wow, that sounds incredibly convenient. So literally everything is right there at your fingertips.
Yeah.
What's the big advantage of having it all consolidated like that?
So beyond just the convenience, it enables those really important digital alerts we talked about earlier.
Right.
Because the platform has all your information, it can send you those real-time notifications about any changes. Flight delay, gate change, even an unexpected closure at an attraction you were planning to visit.
Wow.
That proactive information, it empowers you to adjust your plans on the fly without feeling totally thrown off. And the source actually quotes one user who said, and I quote, "Having all my bookings in one place just made my trip so much smoother."
That's a pretty compelling testimonial right there.
Yeah.
So the second hack that the source talks about focuses on customizing your route for maximum impact. And this sounds especially relevant for people who, love a good road trip, like myself.
Absolutely. For road trips, the route itself is such a big part of the experience. And what's really exciting is how AI-powered tools, they can offer more than just the fastest route from A to B, right?
Okay.
They can suggest routes that take you past interesting landmarks, scenic viewpoints, even highly rated local restaurants along the way.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about efficiency in terms of time, it's about efficiency in terms of what you actually get to see and experience along the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And tools like Wanderlog, as the source highlights, they can be particularly useful when you have multiple stops planned.
Okay.
They can help you sequence those stops in a really logical order, minimizing any backtracking, making sure you're making the most of your time without feeling constantly rushed.
Yeah, no more realizing you've just driven past something amazing, and now you have to go miles out of your way to go back.
Exactly. It's about being intentional with your route
Yeah.
and utilizing technology to make that happen.
So we've talked about digital tools and how they're transforming the planning process. Let's dig a little deeper into how we can actually leverage them for a truly seamless trip. The source talks about live updates and smart suggestions as key benefits. What are your thoughts on that?
If we connect this back to that idea of reducing stress, right? These features are absolutely invaluable.
Okay.
Smart suggestions, they're often powered by those AI algorithms we mentioned. They can act like your personal travel concierge.
Interesting.
Based on your preferences, maybe your past trips, or even just general recommendations from other travelers. These apps can point you towards hidden gems, suggest efficient routes you might not have considered, even highlight local events that are happening during your visit.
So it's like having access to local knowledge without actually knowing someone who lives there.
Exactly. And then you have those live updates, which are so crucial for staying informed and adaptable. Imagine getting a notification about a major flight delay, way before you even leave for the airport.
Oh, yeah.
That gives you time to adjust your plans, maybe contact your hotel, and avoid all that unnecessary stress.
Right, right.
The source specifically mentions how apps like TripIt and Wanderlog, they simplify every step from consolidating those initial bookings all the way through to providing those real-time alerts.
And they give this this really helpful example of planning a trip to a national park. How would these apps assist in that kind of scenario?
Right. Think about all the different elements involved in a national park visit. Permits, trail closures, changing weather conditions, finding suitable lodging nearby. These apps can pull together all that relevant information. They might suggest less crowded trails based on real-time visitor data, recommend nearby accommodations that fit your budget and your preferences, even provide those up-to-the-minute weather forecasts so you can pack accordingly. It's about having all those essential details in one place. And the source reiterates that a digital travel planner template can be a really strong foundation for all of this.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about organizing the actual experience itself, the accommodations and the activities. The source highlights the importance of choosing the right ones.
Absolutely. Where you choose to stay and what you decide to do, it really shapes your overall journey.
Yeah.
The source breaks this down into selecting the perfect hotel or rental. It's travel hack number 3.
Okay, so what are like the key things we should be keeping in mind when we're making that decision?
The source makes a great point about first identifying your own needs.
Right.
Are you looking for a cozy hotel right in the heart of the city, or do you need a more spacious rental with a kitchen if you're traveling with family?
Yeah.
Once you have a clear sense of your requirements, platforms like Wanderlog and TripIt, they become invaluable for comparing options and crucially, reading recent reviews.
Reviews are so important. They give you that real insight into what the experience is actually like beyond the marketing and the pretty pictures.
Totally. And the source highlights some key decision factors, like location, obviously, being conveniently located near attractions or having easy access to transportation.
Yeah.
Those recent reviews, we've talked about those, getting that up-to-date feedback on service and amenities, and then comparing specific features that are important to you. Do you need reliable Wi-Fi, available parking, or pet-friendly policies, for example?
Yeah.
And I love this quote that the source includes from one user. They said, "Using Wanderlog helped me find the perfect hotel that matched my budget and my preferences."
It's great when it all comes together like that. Okay, so we've got our accommodations sorted. Now, what about finding those amazing restaurants and local attractions? That's travel hack number 4, right?
That's right. And this is where you can really personalize your trip and make it your own. The source talks about the importance of researching those restaurants and attractions that genuinely appeal to you, right?
Yeah.
Not just, ticking off the top 10 most popular tourist traps.
Right, it should be tailored to your interests.
Absolutely. And digital tools like TripIt, they can actually offer curated suggestions based on your location and your stated preferences.
Oh, that's cool. So it's not just like a generic list of popular spots. It's more tailored to what I might actually enjoy.
That's the idea. The source lays out a few key steps here. First, utilize those AI-powered suggestions we talked about earlier. Platforms like Wanderlog can recommend places based on real-time data and user reviews.
Okay.
Second, it's always wise to check those ratings, see what other travelers are saying about the quality and the overall experience. And finally, particularly for those really popular spots, planning ahead and making reservations can save you a lot of disappointment and wasted time.
That's a great point about reservations. There's nothing worse than showing up somewhere you're really excited about and then realizing there's like a 2-hour wait.
Totally. So by combining thoughtful research with the capabilities of these digital tools, you can really curate an itinerary of accommodations and activities that will make your trip truly memorable.
So we've talked a lot about the theory behind efficient planning, but I'd love to hear some real world examples. The source talks about traveler testimonials and case studies. Like, how has this actually worked for people?
Yeah, this is where it all becomes more tangible. The source shares firsthand accounts from travelers who have actually benefited from using these tools and strategies.
Right.
And hearing how someone saved, hours of planning with Wanderlog or discovered these hidden gems with Just Travel, it can really boost your confidence in these methods.
Yeah, it's one thing to talk about the potential of saving time, but it's another to hear from someone who actually experienced it. What about those case studies from the industry experts? Like, what kind of tangible results are they seeing?
So the case studies highlighted in the source, they provide some really interesting data.
Okay.
For instance, Wanderlog found that their users saved an average of 3 hours per trip just by consolidating their bookings and getting those real-time updates.
Wow.
And Just Travel's research showed that travelers who actively customized their routes, they actually ended up visiting 30% more attractions without feeling rushed.
That's a lot more sightseeing. That's amazing. 3 hours saved per trip. That's like a significant jump of time, especially on a shorter trip.
Absolutely. And it really underscores the core benefits here. Saving time, maximizing your enjoyment by experiencing more, and ultimately reducing that stress that often comes with travel logistics. It shows that thoughtful preparation, with the support of these tools can really lead to transformative travel experiences.
So we're definitely seeing how mobile apps and AI are really playing a crucial role here. The fifth travel hack in our source specifically addresses exploring AI-driven itinerary suggestions.
Right, and this is where things get particularly exciting. AI has the power to analyze massive amounts of data. Your preferences, your budget, your travel dates, even up-to-the-minute info about weather and local events to create these really personalized itinerary suggestions.
Okay.
Think of Wanderlog, for instance, using AI to recommend not just those well-known tourist hotspots, but also those lesser-known local gems that might align perfectly with your interests.
Yeah.
It's like having a super knowledgeable, personalized guidebook.
It's like having a local friend who knows exactly what you'd love. So what are the specific advantages of these AI recommendations?
The source breaks it down really nicely. First, you get those personalized recommendations. They go beyond just those standard generic suggestions. Second, the AI can often integrate real-time updates into its suggestions. So if there's a sudden closure or change in operating hours, your recommended itinerary can adapt. And third, AI is great at efficient routing. You can figure out the best way to see multiple things in a limited time frame. And the source actually quotes a user review that said, AI-powered tools like Wanderlog have made my trip so much more seamless and enjoyable.
That's great to hear. And the source kind of revisits that comparison between Wanderlog and TripIt, particularly in the context of AI recommendations and route optimization.
Right. It's worth noting that while both platforms do offer, AI-powered features to some extent, Wanderlog seems to have a stronger focus on those AI-driven itinerary suggestions and that road optimization capability we discussed earlier. TripIt, on the other hand, it excels at consolidating those bookings and providing those live updates. And as we mentioned before, the digital travel planner template is presented as a really valuable addition to these tools.
Okay.
It provides that structured framework to organize all those suggestions.
So now let's talk about planning trips for groups or families, because that can add like a whole other layer of complexity.
Right. Absolutely. Group travel definitely requires a higher level of coordination. What's really interesting is how digital tools can bridge those logistical gaps.
Okay.
Using shared itineraries on platforms like TripIt or Wanderlog, it becomes essential. Make sure everyone's on the same page, everyone's informed, especially with those real-time updates.
So everyone can see the plan and any changes as they happen. That definitely minimizes confusion.
Totally. The source outlines some key strategies for successful group travel. setting clear expectations up front about what everyone wants to see and do, assigning roles for different aspects of the planning, and using those collaborative features within apps like Wanderlog, where everyone can contribute to the itinerary.
Okay.
All of this can really streamline the process.
And then there's the always fun topic of shared expenses. How can digital tools help us manage that without creating friction within the group?
That's a classic group travel challenge.
Yeah.
But thankfully, many apps, including TripIt to some extent, and dedicated expense sharing apps like Splitwise, they offer features to track those costs and split bills really easily.
Oh, that's good.
The source recommends, setting a budget beforehand, using those digital tools to log expenses as they occur, and planning activities that everyone can enjoy and that fit within the budget. And just like with individual travel planning, that digital template can be really helpful for getting a clear overview of the overall budget and keeping track of who owes what.
It sounds like these digital tools are super versatile. They can handle all kinds of travel scenarios, from solo trips to big group adventures.
Absolutely. And it all comes back to streamlining the booking process itself, which the source also touches on.
Right. And how do these tools help us, navigate those common planning hurdles that we often encounter?
I think the main advantage, as we've discussed, is that consolidation of all your booking information. Having everything in one place with those real-time updates, it just takes away so much stress from managing all those different reservations.
Right.
And with the added intelligence of AI in some platforms, you can even get suggestions for optimizing your schedule based on those bookings.
So what about those moments when things don't go according to plan? You have to deal with cancellations or modifications.
That's when the true value of these platforms really shines through. They often provide these really easy ways to manage cancellations and modifications, whether it's rebooking a flight or changing a hotel reservation.
Okay.
The information you need is usually right there in the app. Some even provide direct links to the booking providers. And once again, that digital template can give you this structured overview of all your bookings, making it much easier to track any changes.
So it's about being proactive and having that information readily available so you can handle any unexpected bumps in the road.
Exactly. It's about shifting from that reactive, potentially stressful mode to a more informed and in-control approach to travel.
And finally, the source emphasizes enhancing our journey through custom travel strategies. So it's not just about efficiency, it's about making the trip truly personal.
Right, and what's interesting here is the focus on personalization. By identifying those unique interests you have and using AI-powered tools like Jess, travel, you can tailor your itinerary to reflect what you genuinely want to experience.
Yeah.
The source actually gives this lovely example of someone who used the platform to discover a hidden cafe in Paris that wasn't on the typical tourist radar.
That's the kind of experience that can really elevate a trip from ordinary to extraordinary.
Absolutely.
So how do we actually go about personalizing our itineraries in a practical way?
The source suggests, incorporating those unique attractions that might not be in all the guidebooks, optimizing your schedule to allow more time for the activities you really enjoy.
Right.
And importantly, maintaining some flexibility to embrace those spontaneous opportunities that might arise.
Right, yeah.
And another really insightful point the source makes is about utilizing feedback after your trip.
Oh, interesting.
Reflecting on what worked well, what didn't, even sharing your experiences on platforms like Jess. Travel can help you refine your travel strategies for future adventures.
Okay.
And as the source notes, your digital template can evolve over time as you get a better understanding of your own travel preferences.
That's a great point. Our planning process can become more and more tailored to our individual needs and preferences with every trip we take.
Totally. It's a continuous learning process that enhances the joy and fulfillment we get from travel.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. To wrap things up, let's just quickly recap those 5 travel hacks from our source that can really help us save time and money.
Absolutely. So first, it's about integrating your bookings and reservations seamlessly using those digital platforms. Second, customizing your route for maximal impact, especially for those road trips.
Yep.
Third, selecting the right hotel or rental by really considering your needs and paying attention to recent reviews. Fourth, discovering those great restaurants and local attractions through research and those digital recommendations. And fifth, exploring those AI-driven itinerary suggestions for a more personalized and efficient experience.
And throughout this whole process, tools like TripIt and Wanderlog, they really play such a key role in simplifying everything.
They do. It's not just about saving money, it's about elevating the whole experience from start to finish. And the source reminds us that a digital template can be a fantastic way to complement these tools and create that comprehensive solution.
So for you, the listener, I want you to consider this. How might implementing even just one of these hacks transform your next trip? How could exploring the more advanced features of digital travel tools personalize your experiences in ways you haven't even imagined? It's about going beyond just booking those flights and hotels and really crafting a journey that's uniquely yours and, most importantly, stress-free. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Indeed. Wishing you safe and enjoyable travels.
And we'll see you next time on the deep dive.
Sounds good.
Right. Take care.